outside of a city outside of Seattle. If you're from the West Coast, if you know that area, he man, he was tough, man. He graduated high school '07, same time I did. So I remember him probably from his freshman year in high school. He was just a little dude, he was probably like 5'7", looked like a child. He had one of those baby faces, very small in stature. I mean, he's about the same size as me. Uh Very small in stature, but young in facial look. And IT, man, he went to Curtis Senior High School. I remember their jerseys were like white and blue. So if anybody's from that area, you probably know. And he's from a lineage of great players. A lot of people don't know about all the great players that come out of Washington. Uh, you starting with Doug Christie. Doug Christie was a great player from the state of Washington, probably more from the Seattle area. Doug Christie, I believe, went to Pepperdine with if you remember Montel Jordan, the singer. He went to Pepperdine as well. Montel Jordan's a dude that's following Christ now, so shout out to Montel Jordan. Um, yeah, Doug Christie started off, built that pipeline, was a guy that went back to reach back to help a lot of these players. And that's how a lot of these guys make it. They either have like a parent or they have some type of like root to the NBA. So they're playing with NBA guys. They know NBA guys already. So it's not really any sort of reach when they're trying to get there. They know those guys already. And IT, he was tough at Curtis Senior. He averaged 32 a game his junior year. He was tough. Back by that time, he was already dunking. He was already above the rim, and he was small. He was above the rim. He was hitting contested threes. You can go watch the game online. He was They were playing against Peyton Siva. They were playing against Franklin High School. Um, Peyton Siva. Peyton Siva was really good. Peyton Siva and Benoit Overton. Benoit Overton went to UW. He might have played with Isaiah, another. I remember that era. Benoit, probably the same graduating class as Isaiah. Probably went there a little bit earlier, but he went to University of Washington, UW. Else went to UW. Holiday, Justin Holiday, Drew Holiday's older brother. His game was a little bit different probably back then, but he went to UW as well. Abdul Gaddy, if anybody's from that area too, they'll remember Abdul Gaddy. Man, but he was going off against Franklin. Isaiah went crazy, had a great game. If you're in here, let me know where you're from. Thanks for joining in. Isaiah, he went off in that game, so you could check that game out. Also, he didn't really have the grades, and if you're in this time, like before, like the 2010s, like that 2005 to probably like 2009 ish, that era, it was super popular for guys to go to prep school. Like it was a super popular thing to go to prep and have that extra year of eligibility in college. But I don't know if that became like the best thing because so a lot of prep schools were popping up. You know what I mean? There was a lot of schools I remember at that time. Some of them were even closing down shortly after. And I think one of the things that killed a lot of these prep schools is kids were going there to get an extra year of eligibility, and they would go to get eligibility, and they weren't even eligible. They were like because a lot of these classes, I guess they were taking classes that weren't really legitimate. I mean, it could help with you studying for SATs, but if you're taking classes that are not really legitimate, then those classes won't really transfer to school. They won't transfer to the college level. But if anybody knows a little bit more about that, I'd be interested to hear. But there's a lot of good ones. Um, there's some good ones. Virginia, Hargrave Academy in Virginia. Oak Hill is not a prep school, but it's a good boarding school. Um, uh, North Mount Herman. It was,